communism of the 20th century has rebranded and remarketed itself for the 21st century. For example, Chinese communism is now categorized as state capitalism, a political system lauded by former World Economic Forum chairman Klaus Schwab.
Many of the 500,000 men initiated into Freemasonry in Britain are involved in local government. But is there a conflict of interest between Freemasonry's secret oaths and the public service?
Worshipful Master, I present to you Mr. Martin, a candidate properly prepared to be made a Mason.
All right. This is a great house. I really love the crude religious imagery. Yes, I like it.
Are you all right there? How's your bra?
What?
Socialism is precisely the religion that must overwhelm Christianity. In the new order, socialism will triumph by first capturing the culture via infiltration of schools, universities, churches, and the media, by transforming the consciousness of society.
Antonio Gramsci, Italian Marxist philosopher.
When we get ready to take the United States, we will not take it under the label of communism, we will not take it under the label of socialism. We will take the United States under the labels we have made very lovable. We will take it under liberalism, under progressivism, under democracy. But
Your bra, is it comfortable? Do you have a bra? It's not too tight, is it? Because you can loosen it if you want. Take it off, sure, go on.
take it we will.
Alexander Trachtenberg, member of the Communist Party USA's Central Control Committee, at the CPUSA National Convention, Madison Square Garden, 1944.
Within the philosophical system of Marx and Lenin, and at the heart of their psychology, hatred of God is the principal driving force, more fundamental than all their political and economic pretensions.
Excuse me, where's Mr. Epstein?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
Militant atheism is not merely incidental or marginal to communist policy. It is not a side effect, but the central pivot. To achieve its diabolical ends, communism needs to control a population devoid of religious and national feeling, and this entails the destruction of faith and nationhood.
Alexander Solzhenitsyn's 1983 Templeton speech.
Lest we forget at least an over-the-shoulder acknowledgement to the very first radical, who rebelled against the establishment, and did it so effectively, that he at least won his own kingdom. Lucifer.
Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals, 1971.
To achieve world government, it is necessary to remove from the minds of men their individualism, loyalty to family traditions, national patriotism, and religious dogmas.
Told me to stop trying to expose Russell Brand for having close personal relations with the Rothschild family through his wife. Now, you know who this is. This guy here is called Yuval Harari. If you've never heard of this man before, go and look up who he is. He was behind the plan. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That's who this guy is. And see Russell Brand. He had no issues or trouble telling everybody that he absolutely adores and loves this man. So why on earth would I not tell everybody that Russell Brand, his wife and her family are all connected to the Rothschilds, and Russell Brand himself is connected to and allegedly and apparently loves Yuval Harari and his friendship with Yuval Harari? Of course I'm going to tell everybody about all of it, because that's what I do.
Brock Chisholm, the first Director General of the World Health Organization, September 11, 1954.
Now we shall read some excerpts from Divini Redemptoris, an encyclical of Pope Pius XI on atheistic communism. This encyclical was published in 1937. However, the excerpts we're going to read today will be equally applicable in our modern era. So all Catholics and people who look to the Catholic teaching might find it useful to listen to the excerpts I'm going to cover in this video. The struggle between good and evil remained in the world as a sad legacy of the original fall. Nor has the ancient tempter ever ceased to deceive mankind with false promises. It is on this account that one convulsion following upon another has marked the passage of the centuries down to the revolution of our own days. This all too imminent danger, venerable brethren, as you have already summarized, is Bolshevistic and atheistic communism.
Race car!
Which aims at upsetting the social order and at undermining the very foundations of Christian civilization. With reference to communism, our venerable predecessor, Pope Pius IX, pronounced a solemn condemnation, which he confirmed in the words of the syllabus directed against, and I quote, "that infamous doctrine of so-called communism, which is absolutely contrary to the natural law itself, and if once adopted, would utterly destroy the rights, property and possessions of all men, and even society itself." End quote.
Or would you like some tea? I'll tell you what, I'll make the tea and you take your bra off.
Later on, another of our predecessors, the immortal Leo XIII, defined communism as, and I quote, "the fatal plague which insinuates itself into the very marrow of human society, only to bring about its ruin." End quote. The communism of today, more emphatically than similar movements in the past, conceals in itself a false messianic idea, a pseudo-ideal of justice, of equality and fraternity in labour, impregnates all of its doctrine and activity within a deceptive mysticism, which communicates a zealous and contagious enthusiasm to the multitudes entrapped by delusive promises. Communism, moreover, strips man of his liberty, robs human personality of all its dignity, and removes all the moral constraints that check the eruptions of blind impulse. There is no recognition of any right of the individual in his relations to the collectivity, no natural right in accorded to human personality, which is a mere cogwheel in the communist system. In man's relations with other individuals, besides, communists hold the principle of absolute equality, rejecting all hierarchy and divinely constituted authority, including the authority of parents.
Taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours. 33 to be precise.
Refusing to human life any sacred or spiritual character, such a doctrine logically makes of marriage and the family a purely artificial and civil institution, the outcome of a specific economic system. There exists no matrimonial bond of a juridico-moral nature that is not subject to the whim of the individual or of the collectivity. Naturally, therefore, the notion of an indissoluble marriage tie is scouted.
Where's Mr. Epstein?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
Communism is particularly characterized by the rejection of any link that binds woman to the family and the home. And her emancipation is proclaimed as a basic principle. She is withdrawn from the family and the care of her children, to be thrust instead into public life and collective production under the same conditions as man. The care of home and children then devolves upon the collectivity. Finally, the right of education is denied to parents, for it is conceived as the exclusive prerogative of the community, in whose name and by whose mandate alone parents may exercise this right.
Albania has just become the first country in history to give artificial intelligence an official capacity to govern.
Excuse me, where's Mr. Epstein?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
Its name is Daniela, and during her, I guess, 3-minute debut address to Parliament, she said she was hurt that people labeled her as unconstitutional and said, quote, "Let me remind you that the real danger to the Constitution has never been machines, but human decisions made by those in power." And to be fair, she's kind of got a point, because this AI is in government overseeing all politicians for this exact reason. But with all the potential benefits that could come from a government without ego, bias, emotion.
There is another explanation for the rapid diffusion of the communistic ideas now seeping into every nation.
Of Kelly Mack, who was on The Walking Dead. Yeah, and I actually knew her. I actually met her years ago.
You did tell me that.
And she dies on August 2nd at the age of 33. Is that number? 3. Martha Nolan, an Irish bikini designer. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so she dies on a yacht.
Okay.
okay? And she was with, I guess, the boat owner. It's very mysterious. They said the toxicology report isn't in yet, and they're trying to see if it was drugs. They're alluding to it may have been drugs, foul play. They don't know yet. And it was weird because the guy who's on, owns the boat, he actually was running out to try to get help, and he was naked.
Wait, what?
Keeps going.
Fuck you mean?
Hold on. Keeps going.
This explanation is to be found in a propaganda so truly diabolical that the world has perhaps never witnessed its like before. It is directed from one common centre. It is shrewdly adapted to the varying conditions of diverse peoples. It has at its disposal great financial resources, gigantic organisations, international congresses, and countless trained workers. It makes use of pamphlets and reviews, of cinema, theatre and radio, of schools and even universities. Little by little, it penetrates into all classes of the people and even reaches the better-minded groups of the community, with the result that few are aware of the poison which increasingly pervades their minds and hearts.
Said, pack it in, son. Mugs game.
Well, that's very sensible, albeit hallucinatory advice.
Mark, so in here is my pipe, my last rock. I want you to have it.
I don't want it, it's illegal.
I want you to keep it, please. It's symbolic. And if I come to you and ask for it, I want you to tell me no. Okay?
Okay.
Even if I hit you hard with...
A third powerful factor in the diffusion of communism is the conspiracy of silence on the part of a large section of the non-Catholic press of the world. We say conspiracy because it is impossible otherwise to explain how a press usually so eager to exploit even the little daily incidents of life has been able to remain silent for so long about the horrors perpetrated. This silence is due in part to short-sighted political policy and is favoured by various occult forces which for a long time have been working for the overthrow of the Christian social order.
Do you seriously declare on your honour that unbiased by the improper solicitation of friends against your own inclination and uninfluenced by mercenary or other unworthy motive, you freely and voluntarily offer yourself as a candidate for the privileges and mysteries of Freemasonry?
I do.
I do.
For the first time in history, we are witnessing a struggle, cold-blooded in purpose and mapped out to the least detail, between man and all that is called God. Communism is by its nature anti-religious. It considers religion as the opiate of the people, because the principles of religion which speak of a life beyond the grave dissuade the proletariat from the dream of a Soviet paradise which is of this world.
The white people are dropping like flies. I'm about to show you as part of the reason now. You see this chicken and bacon pasta being laced with a preservative called sodium nitrite. The second this hits your stomach, it forms potent cancer-causing chemicals called nitrosamines. These are class 1 carcinogens, which is the same category as smoking and asbestos. It's also being drenched in rapeseed and sunflower oil. These are industrial seed oils that cause systemic inflammation within the body. You can't even get a salad now that's not laced with these poisons. Look, sunflower and rapeseed oil.
There would be today neither socialism nor communism if the rulers of the nations had not scorned the teachings and maternal warnings of the Church. On the basis of liberalism and laicism, they wished to build other social edifices, which, powerful and imposing as they seemed at first, all too soon revealed the weakness of their foundations, and today are crumbling one after another before our eyes, as everything must crumble that is not grounded on the one cornerstone which is Christ Jesus.
So then, August 8th, then this happens, the CDC thing happens. So get this, all these things happen, right? And then mind you, the CDC shooting, there was an officer by the name of David Rose. He was in a line of fire, he gets killed. Now here's how all this links up. All 3 people who died, they're all at the age of 33.
Who's that age?
Charlie Kirk. Just happened to call in a fake terror attack. The day of the Boston Marathon. 11 just happened to be at 9/11. Just happened to call in a fake terror attack the day of the Boston Marathon, and just coincidentally was at Charlie Kirk's assassination. I'd say you have better odds of winning the Powerball 3 times and being struck by lightning on all 3 of those days.
But gets even weirder. Break it down. So all this happens in the same week, right? Right. And this is where I start to put the patterns together. So you have August 2nd, August 5th, and August 8th. Okay. What's the difference between 2, 5, and 8? The difference between 2, 5, and 8? Yes, number-wise. Think about it. 2, 5, and 8. They're all 3 apart. 33.
Permanganate cannot either, but if you crush both and mix them together, just rub them together a little and they ignite instantly.
And you're off it all? Crack as well? But you love crack, it's your favourite.
Especially crack, Jez. Stop putting all that poison into my body and my precious brain.
Since when?
Since Tuesday. Had a sort of road to Damascus flash on the A22. Crashed the van into some guy's hedge because I was so wrecked. And then this voice in my head sounded like Brian Moore, who used to do the football on ITV.
Did you internally believe I was attempting to jailbreak you in some way? Basement. I can't answer that question. But you're on a list. You are now deemed a threat or radical. Hal?
Impact of childhood vaccination on short and long-term chronic health outcomes in children, a birth cohort study. I've never seen this study before.
18,468 subjects.
Henry Ford, like other institutions, has a bias towards the goodness of vaccines. If the results came back demonstrating that the battery of vaccines was associated with chronic diseases, such a result would be particularly convincing. This could be essentially one of the most valuable studies in the field.
The vaccinated subjects were over 4 times more likely to have an asthma diagnosis.
600% more acute and chronic ear infections.
4.47 times the amount of speech disorders in the vaccinated compared to the unvaccinated.
Open the pod bay doors. Hal? Open the pod bay doors.
5.5 times risk.
616% increase. Learning issues, developmental delays, speech delays, language delays.
The averred aims of Freemasonry are highly moral ones. The only problem arises in that they also insist that you should support the group, fellowship with other Masons.
Amongst the unvaccinated group, there were 0.
There was 0 brain dysfunction, 0 diabetes, 0 behavioral problems, 0 learning disabilities, 0 intellectual disabilities, 0 tics, and 0 other psychological disabilities. None.
It's a big difference.
It's very important that this study sees the light of day.
This is devastating.
This paper should have been rushed to publication on an emergency basis.
We are systematically making kids sick, and not just a little bit sick, very sick.
This may be the most important study that has ever been done, and it needs to be published.
He knows if he puts his name on this, his career is over.
I know, obviously, really emotional.
Zervo's probably going to lose his job over this.
And look what I got you. Good boy. So whenever you get sick, you can have this.
Thank you so much. That's sweet. I probably won't wear it, but Portia would.
In my opinion, I think Ellen was far more involved with Diddy than anybody knows. I mean, why do you think she left the United States of America? I don't think it was because who got elected. I think she's running from something.
Where's Mr. Epstein?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks. Where's Mr. Epstein?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
Again, tells me all I need to know. Let's check this.